I'm so happy to be here and to be moving together. I truly mean that every time I say it. We are going to do some what are called log raises today at different points in class. And so you'll want something to use. And you can use a block, you can use something light. If you have an extra rolled up mat, that works great. I have this extra rolled up mat. It's deceivingly very heavy, so you can use something that's heavier as well. It's nice if it's a little longer. Reason being is because it allows you to work different ranges of motion. Like you can have your hands farther away, you can have your hands a little closer. At first, if you have a lot of excessive tension in your shoulders, it's nice to work with your hands a little bit farther away. But really, you have to work with what you have. So if you have something that you want to use that has a little bit of a weight to it, and it just happens that your hands are closer together, or even you have to hold on to it like this, that's okay. So think about what you want to grab, and if you don't have anything that you can think of that has a little bit of a weight to it, then start with something light. Or if you've never done this before, start with something light. But let's go ahead and start with our legs nice and long, stretch long, heel down, toes up in the air. Rotate your pelvis upright, bringing your top two bones forward over your pubic bone. Relax your ribs down and back, and then we'll just take dynamic side bends. We'll take the right arm up and over, and then we'll switch. And always start out slow. And then you can always pick up your pace a little bit as you start to move, and with each new movement you do, start out slow. So it's like you're training your mind to look for anything that might feel uncomfortable for any reason so that you can carefully work with it if you need to. Start to tune into your breath. Let your inhales and your exhales flow. Notice if you're clenching your lower belly, try to let it relax. Your muscles will naturally engage as you tilt your pelvis into neutral and your ribs relax down, and as we're moving, you'll feel things engaging. But notice if you have a habit of holding in tight, still after all these years, and it's interesting, I hold on tight more on one side than the other. I hold my belly more tight on one side than the other. And I can feel how it affects all the way around that hip. All right, next time your right arm goes up and over, just hold there. And with your ribs relaxed down, it's a small movement. You're going to let your arm go forward a little and move your arm back. And forward and back a little, working into the sides of the ribs. Forward and back, forward and back. And then we'll switch sides. Left arm goes up and over. Pelvis tilts upright, ribs relax down, and move the arm a little bit forward and back. All right, and then bring that arm down, again, tilting the pelvis upright. So over and over again, it's an exercise we do thousands of times a day. Over and over again, we might have to drop our ribs down. Palms up, twist your belly button to the right, and twist your belly button to the left. And just at your own pace, go side to side. Start slow. Feel the waist muscles, feel the core muscles. Tuning into your breath once you feel comfortable with the movement. Not that we don't want to be breathing the whole time, but just make sure your breath is flowing. And then next time you turn to the right, pause and rotate your arm bones while you're in a slight twist. Rotating from the very top of the arm bone, turn your arms all the way one way and all the way the other way without the ribs thrusting forward. Maybe you can hear how my stomach is making all sorts of sounds. And then turn your belly button in the other direction and rotate your arm bones there. Feeling some warmth around the shoulders, the upper back, the chest muscles. All right, come back to center, arms come down. Turn your right hand to face forward and go up and over with a side bend here. Reach a little bit longer and then pull yourself back up. Turn your palm to face away from you. Go up and over, reach a little bit more from the waist, from the side of the rib cage. And then come back down, and then try to kind of rotate your arm bone so your thumb turns behind you a little bit. As you go up and over, the hand comes in front and turns behind you as you reach over. And then bring that arm back down. Start with your left hand, palm face forward. Keep that rotation of the arm as you go up and over. Feeling from the fingers to the shoulder, from the shoulder to the waist. And then bring that hand down, turn the palm to face away from you and go up and over. Check in with your ankles. Can you flex them a little bit more? And then bring that arm down and then just try to feel as though you're rotating your thumb behind you any amount. It might not go much far at first. And then as you come up, it's like you're turning your arm so your palm faces behind you, so your arm is slightly in front, and that's what allows you to reach across with the palm facing behind you. And breathing here. All right, and then come back with your arms out to your sides. Let's go into internal rotation. So the shoulders rotate down, the thumbs turn down, the palms face behind you, pelvis upright, ribs relax down. Turn the belly button to the right. Turn the belly button to the left. Unwind, turn your palms face down. Turn your belly button to the right. Turn the belly button to the left. Unwind, palms face forward. Turn the belly. Turn the belly. And then back to center, rotate palms up, maybe even turning those thumbs a little bit down towards the floor behind you. Turn the belly. And then turn the belly. Then come back to center and relax your arms down, and you can bend your knees. And we're going to do some rib breathing, so really your choice. If you want to tie a strap around your rib cage, or if you want to just stick your hands and wrap your hands around, you'll be breathing mostly into where the thumb and this space between your thumb and your pointer finger are, the sides and the backs of your ribs. If you're going to use a strap for feedback, I recommend at first tying a little higher, like right below your chest. But remember, your ribs do go all the way down to your waist. So anywhere, it's not a big range of motion, but anywhere around the rib cage. And then you can start breathing into that area. Let's walk our feet wide here. Outer edges of the feet straight, open the thighs nice and wide. Sit up tall in the pelvis, relax the ribs down. Maybe slide the ears back over the shoulders. And then into your strap. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, pull away from the strap. Inhale, breathe into the back and the sides and a little of the front of the strap. Exhale, pull in away. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Such an important exercise. Perhaps one of the most important exercises, because the more breath you bring in, the more health you create from the inside out. From here, legs are wide, tilt your pelvis forward, and let's just move a little side to side here. Your torso goes over towards your left leg, your torso goes over towards your right leg. Again, always starting slow and then adjusting as you feel good in your body. Okay, next time you go over towards your right leg, hold there. You can use your left hand to open your thigh a little. You can use your right hand to open your thigh a little bit. And let's take a couple rib breaths here. When you've exhaled all the way out, go over to the other side, pause, and take a rib breath here. Or two. Good. Bring your torso back to center. Bring your torso up. Walk your legs back in. Straighten your legs again. Good habit to get into is really relax your legs so your kneecaps can easily lift up and down. Turn your palms to face behind you, and without the ribs lifting up, lift the arms up into the air and let them come back down. And if your ribs lift up, then just don't lift your arms so high. Truly, when I first started really learning about the alignment of my rib cage, my arms would probably lift about this high without my ribs lifting up, without my breastbone lifting up. So I've gained a lot more range of motion in my actual shoulders, where I used to think I was moving from my shoulders when I was really moving from my spine. So be patient with yourself. Don't lift higher than your rib cage allows. And over time, you'll notice your arms just naturally go higher and higher on their own. Okay, let's rotate. Rotate your palms to face you, thumbs forward, elbow pits forward, and arms rise up. Notice as they get up there, watch, do the hands turn one way or the other? Try to, as much as you can, keep them facing each other. Sometimes it's hard to tell. You can look up with your eyes. All right, next time your arms come down, rotate your elbow pits and palms to face forward. Can your pelvis tilt forward a little bit more? As your pelvis tilts forward, it should almost feel like you're putting a little more work in your legs to stabilize yourself, because you're leaning back towards your lower back less, so your heels might have to push down into the ground a little bit more so that you don't slide off your chair. All right, let's keep your right leg long, bend your left knee, and rotate your right thigh bone from the top. Turn it all the way one way, all the way the other way, and try to keep the leg really straight as you rotate. It might want to subtly bend. And a lot of times we do this with two legs, but I like this with one leg because I feel like it gives us more ability to really focus on the one hip and to really see what the one hip is doing versus the other. Bring it back to center and then point and flex your ankle. Point, try to touch the ball of your foot and all your toes down. And then when you flex, really flex from the ankle. Not so much pulling the toes back, but flexing from your ankle. Give it a little something extra without force. Point, flex, point, flex. Now point, hold for a moment, take a breath there. Let's reach our arms out to the side and extend our wrists, fingers point up. And we'll just hold in this position. Sometimes you can go a little lower, sometimes you can go a little higher. And then flex your ankle and hold there. And then relax your arms down, and now twist your ankle from one side to the other. So the inner arch moves away from you, and then the outer edge of the foot moves away from you. And see if you can feel the stretch in the foot and maybe the lower leg. And you might feel some sensation in your ankle, but not too much. The work is coming from the muscles around the joint. How about twist one way and try to spread all your toes out? And then how about try to twist the other way and spread all your toes out? We haven't done that, and just my twisting my foot and spreading my toes out, I got a little crampy sensation in my foot. So it means I hit some muscles that I haven't been working on. So We'll definitely come back to this. And then relax and switch legs. Bend that leg, extend your other leg long, keep it really straight as you rotate the thigh bone. You can always hold on to the seat of the chair if you need some support. Rotate all the way in one direction, all the way in the other direction. Notice that knee bend when you turn in or out. Try to keep the leg pretty straight. Look at what you're doing, feel what you're doing, feel your breath flowing. All right, come to center, and then we'll point and flex. Watch the toes. Try to keep the toes straight up as you flex your ankle. Point, try to touch all the toes in the ball of the foot down, and flex. Point and flex. Point, hold, reach your arms out, extend your wrists, spread your thumbs away from your other fingers on this round. Breathing. And then flex and hold. Toes relax as you pull the top of your foot back towards your shin. You can lift your arms a little higher or lower them a little bit. And then relax your arms and now gently twist your ankle side to side. Outer edge of the foot goes forward, inner edge of the foot goes forward. Feel the muscles around the ankle, the feet muscles, the lower leg muscles. A lot of times I feel this mostly in my lower leg, but today I'm really feeling my feet muscles as well. I randomly did a lot of ball rolling in my feet yesterday, so maybe that's why. And next time you turn your foot one way, try to spread your toes out there. And then turn your foot the other way and spread your toes out there. And speaking of ball rolling, we haven't done ball rolling in a while, and under the Classes Plus section, there is a class that has some ball rolling in it. So definitely do that class if you haven't done it yet. And then bring your foot back, and from here you can bend that knee and bring your foot back. Let's spin around for our first lunge. But before we come into the lunge, we're actually going to start with our leg forward. So you're going to bring that back leg forward and flex your ankle without pulling your toes back a whole lot. Rotate forward from the hips here. Feel the back of the leg get pulled on by rotating your pelvis, and then drop your chin down to your chest. Relax your neck all the way. If your hand's up high and it's hiking your shoulder up, bring your hand a little bit lower. And then with your chin hugging in gently towards your throat, roll your chin over to one side. Roll your chin slowly over to the other side. Bring your chin back to center. Bring your head up, bring your torso up, then slide that leg behind. Tuck the toes under, knee under the hip for a lunge. Front ribs drop down. Let's do some head ramping where you just gently slide your ears back over your shoulders. Resist the urge to pull your shoulders or your ribs lift up. Ribs stay down, shoulders stay relaxed forward. And it's just the head and the neck sliding back. The chin is parallel with the floor. All right, slide that leg forward, spin around to the other side. We'll start by extending our leg forward, heels down, toes up in the air, and then keep the flexion of the ankle as you rotate from the pelvis. If it starts to point, then you know that's your boundary. It doesn't matter if you're not feeling the sensation. Remember, we're not looking for sensations. We're coming into the shape and in many ways just helping our nervous system feel safe and knowing that our body knows what to do. From here, drop your chin down to your chest. If you find yourself pulling your shoulders back, let them relax forward. Roll your chin to one side. Breathing. Roll your chin to the other side. Breathing. Bring your chin back to center. The thing that gets us into the biggest trouble is not being consistent enough, which is why I so encourage you to take these moving moments throughout the day, and then also doing too much too soon. And you see that at every level of fitness. You see people going into places where their body's really not comfortable. And I'm of the philosophy, as I've talked about recently, that when your body is ready to go someplace, it will almost be easy. And if not, slide that leg back into a lunge. There's other things you can be doing to prepare your body. Tuck your toes right behind your knee right under the ankle, ribs relax down, hand to your breastbone, and then let's do some head ramping here. Really feel the ribs drop down. Try not to pull the shoulders back. You can rotate your elbow pit forward, or if you're holding on, you're using your other hand, that's okay. It's like your head is going up and down a ramp. And it might be a very subtle movement depending on the length of your neck. Either way, very important movement for breathing, for sinus health, for brain health, for circulation of your face. All right, slide your head back, slide your leg forward, spin back around to the front of the chair. And then from here, let's grab a block. And if you don't have a block, whatever you use, now we're going to use 3 different heights of the block, the lowest height, the medium height, the highest height. If you don't have a block and you have something that lifts your foot up a little, then just do the one height. That's okay. But let's start at the lowest height in front of our right leg and then put the heel up, flex the ankle, and rotate forward from the pelvis. Very simple. But just getting into different angles, that's what we need. We don't just need end range of motion, we need lots of different angles. And the longer you do this, the more you'll start finding like, wow, I probably need this range of motion more than the higher range of motion. And come up and bend that knee, lean forward, turn the block to the next highest height, heel up, toes up in the air, flexed ankle, rotate forward. If you're not feeling it in the center of the back of the leg, you might need to move your leg a little to the right or a little bit to the left. Really try to straighten that leg. Maybe you can get your kneecap to relax here. Eventually, you'll not only feel it in the back of the leg, you'll start to feel it in the buttocks muscles as well. Be patient, and then come on up and switch. Put the heel up, toes up in the air, relax the thigh, and hinge forward from the hip. Relax any clenching, right leg or left leg. All right, let's switch legs. Bend the knee. Put the block on the lowest height in front of your left foot. Heel down on the block, toes up in the air, keep the ankle flexed, keep the leg nice and straight, rotate from the pelvis. It's not so much your torso going forward, it's these top 2 bones coming forward, maybe even over your bottom pubic bone. Find the angle that you feel it in the center, about the center of the back of the thigh. And I mentioned this before, but I can't emphasize this enough, especially for people who are newer to the classes, is that you will feel more and more in your body over time. Go to the second height, meaning when I first started this journey, I was that person who could just like flop my torso over my legs and be like, I don't feel a lot of sensation. And now I feel almost as much sensation, actually just as much sensation at the lowest height as I do in the highest height. And that is an indication that my body, that I am more and more aware of my body, which is so important. Awareness is the key. Awareness is the root of yoga. One of the roots of yoga. And then come to the highest height. And we have this idea, I did especially, that if I'm not feeling anything, I need to go deeper. And to be perfectly honest, the more I've learned about the body, the more that idea is a disaster for the human body. It's really not good. It's really why we have so many issues as time goes on. If anything, it's an indication that maybe you need to do less, which is in some ways a bigger mental challenge than it is a physical challenge. Relax any clenching. Rotate from the pelvis. All right, come on up. Let's do the same thing, angles with the block. So 3 different heights, or if you have 2 different heights, you do the floor and whatever you're lifting your foot up on. But we're gonna do the block on the lowest height inside the left foot. And we're gonna put our foot up on there and let our right knee drop open and then rotate forward from the pelvis a little. And you can either stay still or you can move your torso a little bit side to side. It usually goes a little bit more to one side when the knee's out to the side. And I kind of just want to stay still. So you can move a little bit if you'd like to. Relax any clenching. Inner thigh, outer thigh, toes. And then come up nice and slowly. Switch the height of the block. Second highest height. Outer edge of the foot on the block. Knee drops open to the side. Rotate from the pelvis. If you have outer hip issues, balancing issues, IT band issues, sciatica issues, you will probably get faster results doing all these angles and staying rather than going to end range of motion, which would be like ankle over knee in this situation. All right, come up and let's do the highest height, which our bodies are more used to because more of us do this more often, and hinge forward, rotate forward from the pelvis. All right, let's switch sides. So block inside the right foot, lowest height, flexed ankle, just the outer edge of the foot, knee drops open. Try to move more from the pelvis. So you're not keeping the pelvis stuck back here and bending from your spine. You've got to get the pelvis to rotate, which might mean your hips have to come a little bit higher. But you kind of still keep your thighs on the chair. So you're not totally lifting up off the chair. Relax your lower belly. Tune into your breath. Come up. Does your mind start racing? Does your mind start telling you that you're not doing enough? Tune into your breath. Come back to your breath. It will help over time calm your mind down. So people will go and they'll do exercise, and then after the exercise, they're like, I didn't feel that I was doing damage. But afterwards, they end up having an injury or something going on with their body. This is how you prevent that. You strengthen your nervous system, angle by angle, part by part. You start to feel more of what's going on in your body. And then when you have this strong connection with your nervous system and all your muscles, you'll know a lot sooner if something isn't right. And I'm not saying that I am to that level yet, but I'm definitely feeling that happening more in my own body, where I can start to feel like, oh, this is too much today, or I'm okay with doing more. And then come on up and put the outer edge of the foot, thigh dropping open, rotate forward from the pelvis. Breathing. Not only will you start to feel more, but it feels good. Like you can actually feel very specific muscles. You can feel what's going on there to a different level where it feels good. It feels good to tune into the different parts of your body. It's a very pleasant experience, or it becomes one. Relax any clenching. You have to do that over and over again. Are you clenching your pelvic floor muscles anywhere around your private areas or your buttocks area? Relaxing there. All right, come on up. Scoot your hips so that your left hip is the center of your chair. Your right leg extends out to the side. Turn your toes forward, or you can put the sole of your foot down. But notice if your toes start slipping away, keep them pointing forward. And then take your right arm with your palm facing forward, up and over. And this time we'll hold the side bend. We'll reach over as we stretch that right leg long. And then we'll just slowly rotate our palm to face down. Reach over. Rotate your palm to face behind you. Reach over. Is that leg starting to bend? Straighten the thigh bone back. Pull yourself up and switch sides. Right hip in the center of the chair. Left leg extends long, toes pointing forward, and then palm face forward. Take that arm over. Keep extending that left leg long. Reaching over. Rotating from the palm, reaching over from the hip, from the waist, from the rib cage. Rotating the arm bone so the palm faces behind you, the elbow turns forward, reaching over, check in with that leg, the foot, leg is straightening. And then pull yourself up. Okay, we're gonna do a twist with some rib breathing. So feet straight, ankles hip distance apart, rotate the pelvis up, relax the ribs down, tighten that strap if you need to, and then turn your belly button to your right and hold here. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Take another breath like that. Switch sides. Turn the belly button, turn the waist, watch the thighs collapsing in or out. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Take another breath like that. All right, bring your torso to center. Now we're gonna do those log raises. So grab whatever you have, a block, a rolled up towel, a pillow that's a little heavier. Spin around to one side and we'll do it in a lunge. So if it's comfortable, tuck those back toes under, press back through the heel. Your legs are active. If your front foot can reach, push down. If it doesn't, sometimes put a block or a pillow or a towel under there. And then pick up whatever you're using. Think ribs stay relaxed down as your arms go up into the air. And tap down towards your knee. Arms go up and tap down. And up and tap down. Take your time, 2 more. 1 more. All right, let's spin around to the other side. Turn around. Knee slides back, tuck the toes under, reach back through the heel, front ribs relax down, steady on the feet, and arms rise, and tap down. Up into the air, nice and slowly, tap down. 3 more like that, at your own pace. Keep letting the breath flow. right, when you're done, place whatever you're using to your side, spin back around to the front of the chair. Reach your arms in front of you, palms together, and then with palms together, without the ribs going up, we lift our arms up and down. Up and down. Doesn't matter how high. Okay, next time you go up, this time when you go down, it's towards your right knee, up in the air to the right. Tap the right leg, up over to the right a little. Tap, and lift, and tap, and lift. Come back to center, tap to your left knee, and lift, tap, and lift, tap, and lift, tap, and lift. Good. Come back to center. Think ribs relax down, hands to the top of the head or hands behind the head, elbows hug in a little. Extend and bend. Extend and bend. Extend and bend. Extend and bend. Extend up, release your arms down, ankles under your knees, lean forward, push through the entire sole of your feet to come up, come around to the back of your chair, walk back, 2 straight arms, 2 straight legs, push your hips back, relax your belly. You can take your strap off if you want to, but it's a nice indicator of where to lift the ribs a little without tucking the pelvis under. And then from here, let's put a bend in our knees, sticking our hips back. So if your knees travel forward, you might have to walk your feet forward a little bit and then pull your thigh bones straight back. Outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance. Bend, watch the thighs collapsing in. You can work on rotating the thighs open as you straighten and as you bend. Take your time. If you feel like your spine is rounding, bring your hands to something a little bit higher. All right, push back into your heels, press up to stand. Grab whatever you're going to use for a calf stretch. I've been using the thin block a lot lately. I'm going to use a rolled up towel today. And then we're going to do our foot at 3 different angles. You're going to do pigeon-toed with your hips facing forward, turned out to the side. A little goes a long way. So if usually a straight foot, you can just turn a tiny bit out and then edge of the foot straight. Start with your right foot. Put the ball of the foot up pigeon-toed. And with your hands out by your sides, weight back in your heels. You can step that outside foot forward any amount. Side bend, side to side. I'm not sure, my hands might be cut off here, but side bends, breathing. Relaxing the lower belly, hips back over heels. It's okay for your torso to come forward. You're not leaning forward as much as you think you are. Now, if when you back your hips up, your torso comes forward a lot, then you know you've got to work on the psoas relax, psoas release pose. And I did just post that on the site, so check that out. Start practicing that more often. One more time with each arm. All right, let's change the foot. So from straight to slightly out to the side, rotate the hips to face forward, press down through the center of the heel, arms open to the side, twist just the upper body. So the hips are not turning, just the waist, just the upper body. It's okay if it's small. Ribs relax down and back here. Are you clenching either of your legs? Use the entire soles of your feet on the floor. All right, turn your foot to straight. Maybe your outside foot steps forward a little. Let's put the two together. Side bend with your right arm up and over, and then twist and reach over to the left. Slowly come back up, open your arms up. We'll twist our belly to the right, twist to the right, hold, reach your left arm back and over. 2 straight legs, watch the knee bend, or the ribs thrusting from the front. And then come back down, switch feet. Ball of the foot goes up, toes turn in slightly, and then maybe the outside foot steps forward. From here, dynamic, side to side bends. And my strap is slipping, so I'm going to take it off now. You're moving into your side bends. Hips over heels. Are you rolling to one side of your foot or the other? Try to center. Are your hips facing forward? And of course we're moving dynamically, but let's say you go into one side and you're like, oh, that feels good for some part of my spine or my back muscles or my hip, then stay there. All right, switch the foot. Turn the toes slightly out, center the heel, hips point forward, maybe the outside foot steps forward, arms out to the side, and twisting from the belly button. Just the upper body. Remember, the more your alignment starts to happen, the more you'll feel more muscles working in your body. So in some ways, the more simpler moves will still be more work than if you were doing something more complicated with less muscle use. All right, bring that foot really straight. Maybe the outside foot steps forward. Let's take our left arm up and over for a side bend, and then twist your belly over to the right. Come back up, arms to the side. Twist your waist to the right, to the left, excuse me. Hold, your right arm goes up and over into a side bend while you're turning to the left. 2 straight legs. All right, and come on down, release your arms. You can put that, whatever you're using, to the side. Feet straight, ankles hip distance. Push down through your right hip, tuck the top of the left foot behind you. Remember, for balance, we're working on backing up the weight into the heel. We're working on if the hip goes out to the side, hugging it in. Everyone's pushing down through that outer hip. A little more advanced, but over time you start working on rotating your thigh bone into neutral and lifting your kneecap up and down. Before you start doing that on one leg, make sure you review the alignment skills videos. Switch feet. Feet straight, ankles hip distance. Push down through the left hip, hug it in. Tuck the right toes behind you. First, hips over heels. Back it up. Next, hip presses down, hugs in if it tends to pop out. Third, maybe working on neutral rotation, being able to relax your kneecap on one leg. And breathing. Okay, let's follow those balancing principles as we push down through our outer right hip, hug it in, left foot floats up, we lift and lower. You can tap down every time you lower. Lift and lower, feel the outer hip and buttocks lifting. How about next time you take that foot out a little bit, you tuck the top of the foot back at an angle. Weight back in the heel of the standing leg. You can always cushion your foot. It's a great idea to do at first. Bring the foot back, feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. We want to start there because that helps with our thigh balance. Push down through the outer hip, hug it in, flex the ankle, and lift and lower. Tapping down or not. Not taking your focus off the standing leg. How about next time you lift it out a little bit, you tuck it back at an angle, top of the foot stretch, backing the weight up into the heel, stacking the joints, relaxing the front of the thigh, breathing. All right, bring that foot back. Face your chair. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Rotate from the pelvis. At first, if you tend to move from your spine, you want to really back your hips up. You can go back pretty far. But over time, as you're pretty sure I'm moving from my pelvis, like you're keeping this natural curve of your lower back, start to rotate your pelvis and you don't have to back your hips up so much. You can even keep your thigh bones stacked over your ankles. Just a little bit something different to do. You can work on neutral rotation while you do this. All right, let's sit back into a chair pose and press up. Sit back. Press up, sit back, press up, relax the lower belly, sit back, press up. Let's sit back one more time. Step your right leg way back. You're going to take your right hand up and twist it open into the air. Now curl it under, closer to your wrist. Open it up, curl it under, closer to your elbow. Open up, curl it under, closer to your shoulder. Open up, hand comes back to the chair. Push off the heel of the front foot, the ball of the back foot, feet straight, sit back. Step your left leg back, find the center of the ball of your foot. Reach that arm into the air. Curl closer to your wrist. Nice and slow, open up. Curl closer to your elbow and open up, and then go a little higher, closer to your shoulder and open up, and then bring that hand down, push off the ball of the back foot, the heel of the front foot. How about walking back, two straight legs, feet straight, ankles hip distance at first, hips over heels. How about flipping your palms up? As you push your hips back, let your chest drop down a little bit. Breathing. All right, step your feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Feet straight, back your hips up. Shift your hips from right to left. Try to feel like you're going in one straight line. Come back to center, walk your feet a little bit wider, maybe as wide as your mat or approximate. Back your hips up, shift your hips. Keep backing the weight up into the heels. Just about 2 shifts to each side. Go over as far as feel comfortable for you. Walk your feet a little bit wider. Back your hips up. So about a warrior stance now. Shift your hips. Back to center, push through the heels to come up. Your feet are nice and wide. Turn your right toes out 90 degrees. Bend into the knee, not past the ankle. Hand or elbow down to the knee, your choice. I'm going to work with my hand. So hand on the knee, reach your left arm into the air. Curl it between your arm and your knee. You can check, is my foot straight? Is my knee collapsing one way or the other? Curl open, curl through. Open, curl through. Open, bending into the knee, steering it open. Warrior 2 pose. Slowly straighten the leg, tip over into a triangle pose. Come back up as you bend the knee, steering it over. Press through the back leg, warrior two. Slowly straighten, tip over, triangle pose. And then slowly come back up. Turn your right toes in, turn your left toes out, bend the knee, hand to the leg, can help steer the thigh over the center as long as the foot is straight. Right hand in the air, curl between the arm and the leg, open up. Curl, open up. Press long through that back leg. Curl, and open up, and curl, and open up. Now bending that knee, come on up, warrior two. Slowly straighten the leg, tip over into a triangle pose. Both legs nice and straight. Come back up into warrior two. And back into a triangle. Breathing. And back into a warrior two. And then straighten your leg, turn your toes in, walk back, two straight arms, two straight legs. Now how about walking your hands so your thumbs touch and letting your spine drop down. Come up a little with your torso, walk your feet in so they're hip distance apart, and then back your hips up with hands together on the back of the chair. So if you're a loosey-goosey, if it's easy for you to come into all these bendy poses, and it always has, alignment stabilizes you. Getting your feet straight, getting your ankles hip distance apart, especially rotating your thigh bones into neutral. If you are someone who has excessive tension in areas, I mean, everybody has excessive tension in some areas and less in others, but in general, you're just like a stiffer person, getting into alignment allows you to improve your range of motion with more ease, even though it might not feel like it at first. All right, and then press on up, walk yourself up to your chair. Let's stand sideways at the chair, feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Take that arm up and over, and then notice the difference between having your hips stacked and letting your hip go out to the side. Nice and slow. Stack your hips, hips go out to the side. Stack, hips go out to the side. Stack, hips go out to the side. Stack, pull that arm down, switch sides, turn around or move your chair around. You're facing your opposite leg, your top arm goes up and over, start with hips stacked, slowly let the hip go out, weight back in the heels, pull the hip in, you're staying in the side bend the whole time, hip goes out slowly, push down, bring your feet in. Hip goes out slowly. Push down, bring your hips back to stacked. Hip goes out slowly. Push down, bring your hips back. Bring that arm down. You'll want a wall space for a chest stretch. Put your hand on the wall, fingers point up, about the height of your chest. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Wrap your elbow pit towards the ceiling, so elbow pit towards the ceiling. On this arm, inside arm, turn your chest away from the wall. Ribs relax down, ears slide back over the shoulders, hips over the heels. Breathing. Relax the outside shoulder if it pulls back. So I made a mini video of this, of just doing chest stretches. This is so important for modern culture. These chest stretches to help balance our body is unbelievably necessary to balance the shoulder girdle, any shoulder issues you might have. But sometimes I hesitate, turn around, doing in this class because I don't know how many people have a wall right by, and I don't want them to bypass this. I don't want them to not do it. So that's why I made that mini video with all the variations. But we really should be doing this in class more often. So if you have any feedback for me on that, please let me know. Ribs are down, ears slide back, hips over the heels. Hand about in line with your chest. Palms, fingers spread long, wrapping the elbow pit towards the ceiling. All right, let's do one more each side. Fingers point up, elbow pit wraps up, ankles right under the hips. Turn the chest open, relax that outside arm. How about moving your hips a little side to side here and feeling how the shift of the hips changes the chest muscles? How about your hips forward and back? It's not ribs going up and down, it's just hips going forward and back. All right, turn around. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart to start. Ankles right under the knees. And then turn your chest, maybe hip shift side to side a little bit. Relax that outside arm. How about hip shift forward and back a little bit? All right, bring your hand down from the wall, and then from here, you'll come back to your chair, and we're gonna do a double calf stretch with a rainbow. So that means turn the feet different ways. So I'm gonna use a rolled up towel that's long enough, whatever you have that's long enough. Turn your toes pigeon-toed. Try to open your feet as wide as you can, and back your thigh bones up. Allow your belly to relax as much as it can. But at the same time, ground through the legs, straighten the legs. Straightening the legs all the way is what supports you so that your lower back doesn't take the load in this particular instance. Or it takes some of the load off of your lower back. All right, turn your feet out to the side slightly. Push your hips back. Can you straighten your legs a little bit more? All right, feet straight, hips back. Can you straighten your legs a little more, but still keep the front of the thighs relaxed? Actively reach down from your outer hips, from your inner thighs, from the backs of the legs. The same way we practice when we're balancing and we're working on pushing our outer hips down. Do that through all three sides of your legs. All right, and then come on up and we'll do some chair squats to the chair. If you want to do it to a little something higher, put something up on your chair that's safe. And then we'll sit back. This time, instead of tapping, we'll lower all the way down. Feet straight, ankles hip distance. Lean forward, try to push your hips back so your knees don't go past your ankles. Take your time. You can start with your feet a little wider than hip distance apart. Over time, try to work with your legs hip distance apart. Steady through the feet. Those little things you feel like parts of your feet lifting up, parts of your feet pulling, that's showing you what muscles are having a harder time connecting in some ways to your nervous system to work for you. So just be aware of that. Like for me, my inner arches really want to lift up. What is that? That's my inner thighs. I still have a habit of sitting with my legs closer all the time. I know I walk with my legs closer still. So being aware of that then helps me work on that. And you learn for your body, but since you're not maybe reading and studying nonstop, ask me questions. If you think you're figuring something out and you're not sure, please feel free to ask me questions. That's what I'm here for. And I learn with you when you use me as a resource. All right, let's sit back into the chair and sit all the way down. Grab whatever you're going to use for log raises. Sitting up nice and tall, pelvis rotates forward, ribs relax down, and rise and tap. One more. All right, put whatever you're using down. From there, we're going to do a side bend. Just go over a little. So your right arm goes into the air. Bend over just from your ribs. So it's small, but your ribs are bending over. And then bend a little more from your waist. And then bend a little more from your hips. And come up. All right, left arm goes up. Bend over a little from your ribs. Bend over a little from your waist. Bend over a little from your hip. And pull yourself back up. Stretch your legs nice and long. Rotate forward from your pelvis. With your chin dropping down to your chest, turn and look to your left. Nice and slowly, head dropping down, turn and look to your right. Bring your head back to center, the head's dropping down. Tilt your left ear to your left shoulder, a little goes a long way. Tilt your right ear slowly over to your right shoulder. Bring it back to center, take another breath. And come up and you're ready for your final pose, Savasana. So sit back any amount in your chair. Let your gaze soften or your eyes gently close. Become very present with your body and with your breath. Stay present with your body and your breath. The most important day is today. Whatever is happening in your life, keep these things in mind. Big problems can be solved in small steps. When you are still, the gentle voice from within you will guide you. Listen carefully. Accept that we each learn life's lessons in our own way. A lot of people love you more than words can say. Bringing your hands to heart center. You're always welcome to sit longer in Savasana. I highly recommend it. There's a guided body scan in the relax section of the site as well. In gratitude for this day, namaste. If you're getting up, watch how you get up.